All right, let's get right into it. If you've been on the job hunt lately, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The news says the market is booming, but your inbox? It's crickets. It's a super frustrating situation, and today we're going to talk about one of the biggest reasons why. This thing called the ghost job.
I mean, this is the question, right? It's the one that keeps you up at night. You see all these headlines about millions of open jobs, but when you apply, it feels like you're just shouting into the void. So what is going on? Well, I'm here to tell you that disconnect is very real. And no, it's not just in your head.
And here's the wild part, the core idea we're digging into today. A lot of companies are putting on a show. They're posting jobs, they're collecting resumes, they're looking busy on LinkedIn, but many of them have absolutely no intention of hiring anyone. It's all a performance. And if you're the applicant, you're the audience that doesn't even know you bought a ticket.
Oh man, we've all been there. You pour an hour into tailoring your resume, then another hour writing that perfect custom cover letter where you talk about how you're passionate about synergy. You hit that submit button, feeling hopeful, and then nothing. Not even a thanks but no thanks email. It's like your application just vanished. But what if it's not you? What if the job you applied for was never really there to begin with?
This brings us to the main culprit behind all this frustration. It's time to put a name to this phenomenon. Let's talk about ghost jobs.
So what exactly is a ghost job? Well, sometimes people call it a phantom job, and it's basically a job listing for a position that a company isn't actually trying to fill right now. It looks real, it sounds real, but the truth is nobody's getting hired from that post, at least not anytime soon.
Okay, so you gotta be asking why? Why would a company do this? Why go through all the trouble of posting a job they have no plan to fill? Well, it turns out there are some pretty strategic reasons behind it. Let's open up the employer's playbook and see what's going on.
And what's really interesting is that it's not just one thing. There are 5 main reasons employers post these ghost jobs, and they range from things like building a talent pool to, believe it or not, boosting their own company's morale.
Okay, first up, talent pooling. This is a big one. Companies just keep listings open to constantly collect resumes so they have a pipeline ready just in case. Second, company image. You know, a careers page that's packed with openings makes a company look like it's growing and successful. That's great for investors, and it can intimidate competitors. Third, and this one's a bit sneaky, employee leverage. An open role can send a message to current employees, hey, you're replaceable. It's a tactic to keep them motivated. Fourth, market research. It's a pretty cheap way to see what kind of salary people are asking for and to gauge the talent that's out there. And finally, compliance. Sometimes HR rules say a job has to be posted publicly, even if they've already decided to promote someone from inside the company.
So we know why they do it. But is this just something that happens once in a while, or is it a full-blown epidemic? Well, the data suggests it's way more common than you might think.
According to one study, a pretty huge chunk, around 21% of all job ads out there, could be ghost jobs. That's roughly 1 in every 5 job postings you scroll past. I mean, think about all the wasted time and energy that represents for people on the job hunt.
And check this out. From the employer's side, a Resume Builder survey found that almost 40% of companies admitted to posting a ghost job in the last year. So yeah, this isn't just a few bad actors. It's a pretty common playbook.
And if you thought that was high, get this.
A live career survey of HR professionals, the people actually doing the hiring, found that a staggering 93% admitted to posting ghost jobs at least occasionally. That's pretty much everyone in the business saying, yeah, we do this.
You can actually see this trend in the hiring numbers. Go back to 2018, and for every 4 job postings, you'd see about 3 people get hired. Fast forward to 2023, and that ratio dropped to less than 1 person getting hired for every 2 postings. More and more jobs are being advertised, but they're not actually leading to a hire.
And this problem isn't spread out evenly. It's worse in certain industries. According to data from Greenhouse, construction is at the top of the list, with 38% of its job posts being ghosts. Right behind are the art and legal fields. This is probably because these jobs are highly specialized, and companies always want to have a pipeline of potential candidates ready to go.
So what's the big deal? A few fake job ads, what's the real harm? Well, the harm is actually pretty significant, and it doesn't just affect job seekers, it affects the whole economy.
For anyone looking for a job, the cost is huge. It's not just the wasted hours, it's the emotional drain. It leads to serious job search burnout, a deep frustration, and a real lack of trust in the whole process. You start to ask yourself, is it me?
when in reality you might be losing a race where there's no finish line, because nobody's actually getting hired.
And on a bigger scale, this whole practice creates a mirage. It pumps up the number of job openings, which messes with important economic data. It makes the job market look a lot stronger than it really is, and that can mislead everyone from policymakers to economists. It's exactly why you hear the job market is on fire, while your own job search feels ice cold.
And honestly, people are just fed up with it. A massive 97% of job seekers think companies should have to tell you upfront if a job post is just for building a list of names for the future instead of for a real immediate opening. The call for more transparency is basically unanimous.
Okay, so the system is flawed. We get it. But that doesn't mean you have to be a helpless victim. Let's talk about what you can do. Let's talk about how you can spot these ghost jobs before they waste your precious time and energy.
Here are 4 big red flags to look out for. First, the repos loop. You see the same job, often labeled urgent, popping up again and again every few weeks. Red flag. Second, the descriptions are super vague. The duties are kind of mushy and there's no clear timeline for hiring. Third, what I call the unicorn pay range. You see a salary range that's just massive, like 40K to 140K. It's so wide, it's basically useless. And fourth, the listing is old. If a job ad has been up for more than a month, you should be a little suspicious. A real urgent opening usually gets filled faster than that.
Now, the good news is some people are trying to fix the system from the top down. Over in California, for instance, there's a proposed bill, AB 1251, that's taking direct aim at this whole ghost job problem.
So, what would this bill do? Basically, it would force companies to clearly state in the job ad whether the position is a real existing opening. And if they don't, they could get hit with fines and cease and desist orders. It's a serious attempt to bring some much-needed honesty to the hiring game.
So, what's the bottom line here? The hiring world often feels like a big performance, but you don't have to just sit there and applaud politely. By learning to spot the red flags and protecting your time, you can get up and walk out of the shows that aren't real. And that frees you up to focus your energy on finding a real job with a real company that's actually hiring.